I collected all of my garbage for the month of July, and this is what it looks like. Plastic-free July is finally over, and if you watch my last video about it, you would know that I committed to collecting all of my trash for the month of July and not throwing it away. So here's my pile of garbage. It's quite large. And I'm not gonna lie, I am missing a couple of things. There were some things that I threw away during my road trip. There was at least one pizza box and a few smaller things that aren't included here, but this is definitely the majority of my trash, and I am so excited to sort through it and get it out of my room because it is taking up a lot of space in my tiny little room. So let's just sort through it really quick so I can get a better idea of what I actually have here instead of just a mountain of garbage that I don't know what to do with. So trash is sorted. And boy, is there a lot more of it than I originally thought. Two things I expected to happen. I knew that I was gonna have a lot of this paper thing. This is sticky paper that comes with my lint roller. I got it from IKEA, I don't know, a couple years ago. And the reason that I need to use it all the time is because my roommate has 2 cats and they are very, very hairy and they get hair everywhere. And so I'm usually lint rolling probably at least once a day. Myself or the bed or the furniture or whatever, I'm lint rolling something at least once a day. And so I make a lot of sticky papers. It looks like in the last month I went through at least 2 full rolls of sticky papers, so this is definitely an area where I could improve. The other thing I suspected that I was gonna have ahead of time was quite a lot of paper. As you can see back there, I do have some cardboard boxes and I do have a lot of paper. It can all be recycled and I'm not too worried about it. The cardboard boxes are from my Imperfect Foods order. And then I got one other package from Amazon, so that came in a cardboard box and just some like junk mail that I can't get rid of no matter how hard I try, and just random papers and things that you kind of accumulate throughout your life just by living. What I didn't expect though is that quite a lot of that paper is actually from fast food restaurants. So I ate out a lot this month, which is not very common. And the reason is because we had a really bad ant problem in our kitchen during July. And for like 2 weeks, I did not cook at home. And I pretty much ate out the whole time. So I have a lot more fast food garbage than I might normally have. And I also, unfortunately, have a lot more compost, like whole fruits and vegetable compost in here because I didn't cook it fast enough before it went bad. That's the unfortunate reality. I wish that wasn't the case, but it rarely happens. As a result, I have a lot less commingled recycling than I would have expected. I suspect that that's not actually all of the commingled recycling. I know for a fact that my friend had a party on the 4th of July and I cooked a lot of stuff for the people that were coming, and so I thought of it as being like his garbage, but really it was probably my garbage too. I don't know. There's just not like hard and fast rules for this experiment. But there was definitely some recycling and some cans that were associated with that event that probably should be here. And on a regular month where I am eating in more, there would probably be a lot more cans and glass bottles and things because I am cooking more and I eat a lot of beans and things like that. But luckily cans are very easy to recycle. And glass is relatively easy to recycle as well. These Tetra packs are from the milk that I get, so I specifically buy it in a smaller container because I don't go through it fast enough to drink a large carton more often than not before it goes bad. So I will buy the smaller one. I think in terms of the environment, that's better, buying a smaller container that you'll actually drink than buying a larger container and just throwing it out. I don't make my own nut milk. I just don't have time and I don't really care enough. I'd like to try. There are certain conveniences in life, and I think buying your milk is a convenience that I'm willing to pay for, and an environmental impact I'm willing to tolerate. Where I live, we have pretty good recycling and they do accept Tetra packs, so hopefully those containers are getting recycled. We can only hope for the best, but you really never know, I guess. There are a few beauty products that I like ran out of or whatever finished. So this is my acne spot treatment. It comes in a glass container, and then it does have a plastic lid and then some plastic here that I need to figure out how to remove before I can recycle it, but I would call this a relatively low waste spot treatment. And then I opened this serum from Face Theory, and the whole package is paper, so it will be very easily recyclable. And then the container itself that it comes in is a glass container, and it has a plastic dropper that hopefully I'll be able to reuse. We'll see. I have been trying my absolute hardest to figure out a way to compost. I tried this app called Share Waste, and I got in touch with someone. She seemed to be on board with me giving her my compost and her using it on her farm or whatever locally, but alas, it has not worked out yet. And so seeing all of this food in one spot when I know it's so easily recyclable, and this plate of just like extra stuff here that I could definitely recycle, like, you know, dirty paper, some fast food wrappers, hair, cat hair, my hair, all of this random organic material that doesn't have to go to the landfill and could be composted, it makes me really want to figure out how to compost. So that might be my next thing. I do live in an apartment, and it is quite hard to compost in an apartment, but I've seen other people do it. So I need to figure it out. That's my next mission in life. Figure out how to compost. Interestingly enough, I do have some fabric this time around that I'm throwing away. It's just old underwear that is like stretched out and no longer usable. Obviously it can't be donated because it's underwear. So I'm gonna have to figure out some sort of fabric recycling system for that. I don't normally throw away clothes. It has to be in very, very bad condition for me to throw it away. Usually I'm able to find some other use for it. I am equally surprised by the number of plastic bags I have back here. That just absolutely blows my mind. Where did they come from? Where? From what I can tell, it looks like most of them are just plastic bag packaging of things that I buy pre-made. So like tortillas, bread, some trash bags, a couple of Ziploc bags I don't normally use, but I did use this month for a couple of different reasons, and I will just wash those and reuse them again. Looks like there is a bag of brown sugar and also some like packaging that came with somebody's order somewhere, possibly mine. I don't actually remember them coming in the mail, but it must have been something that I bought. Or it could be my roommate. I think I might have stolen a box from him to put this garbage in because it was getting out of control. So it could be his. But overall, I'm pretty happy with the amount of plastic that I have back there. It's mostly takeout containers. So looks like we've got 2 clamshells, and those are both from my Imperfect produce order. So I feel kind of fine with anything that comes in plastic from Imperfect because I only buy Imperfect produce from Imperfect, as in produce that otherwise would have been thrown away. So if it comes in plastic, like, you know, it would have been thrown away otherwise. So at least I'm eating the parts that can be eaten, and then the things that go to landfill would be going to landfill regardless. So that's fine. And those clamshells likely can actually be recycled in our home recycling system in our county. Like I said, we have a pretty good recycling system here, so I think it will be fine. I've also got a container of vanilla extract. I use it quite often, and I just finished it up this month. The thing about vanilla extract is that it does come in glass, and I do often buy it in glass, but I'm not working right now, and it is very expensive, and I use it pretty often. So I bought it in plastic this time. I will probably buy it in glass the next time I get it. But yeah, my financial soul could not tolerate purchasing a $20 bottle of vanilla extract when there was like an $8 bottle right next to it, you know what I'm saying? Then we've got 3 pieces of plastic garbage that came from eating out. 2 were from this little vegan restaurant in West Virginia. I didn't realize, it was our first time eating there, that all of their food came out in single-use packaging. We were eating at the restaurant, so I figured it would be, like a plate that they would wash and use again. But no, it all came in single-use packaging, so we had to deal with that. And for safety reasons, I even asked them at one point in time, like, can I use my own things? And they said no. So we did have to eat off of their trash. The other thing is from this bubble tea place, and that was just like a mess up on my part. I forgot my bubble tea straw, which I do have. I have a reusable one. I didn't bring it with me. And then the cup, yeah, like you can't really bring your own. So I do find that eating out is one of my biggest struggles when it comes to avoiding unnecessary plastic. And then it looks like the last thing over there is the plastic packaging from this new, these new scissors, fabric scissors that I bought. I needed them for an activism event because I was cutting some fabric, and it's just like unavoidable. It was like a last minute thing. I didn't plan ahead of time. I couldn't find a used pair, and so they came in plastic packaging with paper backing. So I pulled the paper off. That will go in recycling, and then the plastic, I mean, it's over there in the plastic section, but it's probably more like a landfill item. I don't think that can be recycled. The scissors, on the other hand, I specifically bought the scissors that had no additional plastic on them, so they're fully metal scissors. That way, at their end of life, when they no longer work, which hopefully won't be for a very long time, because I bought the kind that looks super durable, hopefully they will be able to be recycled with just your regular metal recycling, because they are fully stainless steel. Then we have our sad little trash pile over here. So sad. So I should say that a lot of this trash is my trash, but a lot of it is also other people's trash who just came over my house this month. It was a pretty busy social month for me. All of my friends and I are vaccinated, and things are opening up where we live right now, so everybody has been spending a lot of time with friends, and it's been really, really nice. That being said, my sister brought over these Oreo Thins, which are delicious, by the way. Oreo Thins over regular Oreos. I am now officially a convert. But yeah, this whole thing, I don't think it's recyclable. It's a mixed material. On the outside, it's like plastic and foil, and then the inside is just that thin, flimsy plastic. So I think this is fully trash. Most of the other stuff in here is stickers, like tape that came off of my cardboard boxes, stickers from produce, rubber bands from produce, just like random sticky things that were on other things that can't be recycled. There is this one fork. This came from that same restaurant. They just like gave us utensils, and I always forget, I didn't even think to say no ahead of time, and by the time they gave them to us, they wouldn't take them back. So we have a fork, a plastic fork. These stickers are so annoying. Does anyone else hate the fact that everybody now, because of COVID, is like closing all of their packaging with stickers? So like you go to Taco Bell, you get these little stickers, they say sealed for you on them. But like, how does that help anyone with the pandemic? Like, no, it just creates extra garbage. Or if you go to Starbucks, they will like sticker over the hole that you drink out of. Why? It's just extra trash. Please stop. We do have one Starbucks cup that is sadly here. This cup, actually, it was reused. So my boyfriend had it in his car, and then he got me some flowers, and he put them in here like a little vase. So it did get 2 uses out of it, but now it's at the end of its life, and it cannot be recycled, unfortunately. I don't think it can be recycled, so it is going to landfill. I also have a couple of weird things in the landfill section. So I have these boob cups, which came out of an old bra. I was keeping them to use in like a craft project or something, just figure out if there was a place I could use them in, but I decided to let them go this month because I haven't used them yet. And then the other thing are these headphone pads. So I jacked some super fancy, nice Audio-Technica headphones from the thrift store, but the ear pads needed to be replaced because they are quite falling apart. So that was my order from Amazon actually. I ordered a new pair of pads and then I ordered this cover for the headband, which was also like falling apart like this. And that made it so that the headphones didn't have to be thrown away and they could just be repaired. And that does mean that there's a little bit of garbage here. These cannot be recycled and they can't be fixed and they have to be thrown away. But I think throwing away 2 ear pads as opposed to throwing away the whole set of headphones is a lot more sustainable. And that is pretty much all of my garbage for this month of July, and I'm so happy to be done with it sitting around in my room. It's taken up so much space, but it's a good reminder. I'm really glad that I did this because it's so easy to just like throw your garbage away and never think about it again and not be confronted with the fact that we actually create so much waste on an individual level. And I can't imagine all the other people who create waste, more waste than I do, and combining all that waste together and realizing how much garbage we're just sending out into the world without a second thought. Of course, there is some responsibility on the companies for creating things like this that will never be able to be recycled, Oreos, but I can't change what the companies can do. I can only ask for them to be better, but at the end of the day, I can only control myself. And so that's why I'm using this experiment to learn about what things I can do better, to show these companies that I want products that are more easy to recycle. I want products that are more sustainable. I want products that create no waste at all. I want products that are made in a more sustainable way. So what I learned from this experiment is that, one, I desperately need to set up some sort of compost situation because all of this can be composted and a lot of the paper that I'm recycling could also be composted and be like my brown. This is my green and this could be my brown. And I would say they're about equal, so they could possibly, potentially make a good compost pile if I can just figure out how to do it in an apartment. The other thing that I'm definitely doing is fixing this lint roller situation. I think I have 1 or 2 rollers left and I will use them until I don't have any more. And then I'm going to buy and look for a lint roller that's reusable. And I think that would be so much better. Then I won't be creating all of this like plastic sticky paper waste. And all of the hair that I collect can go straight in to the compost pile that I will create because I will. Yes. When it comes to plastic bags, I do have a stash of plastic bags in our cabinet, and that's where I will put all these, and hopefully some of them will get reused for various things like as trash bags or to store things or whatever. But the ones that don't get used will get sent to the plastic bag recycling at our local grocery store, so hopefully they do get recycled there. All I can do is my best, right? I try. We'll see what happens. When it comes to my commingled stuff, I'm actually pretty happy with this. I just want to make sure that I am making a more conscious effort to transition a lot of my items to aluminum or some kind of metal packaging as opposed to glass. I think we're learning that glass is not actually as much of a great packaging material as we previously thought. 1, because it's not always recycled, and 2, because it's pretty heavy and so it causes a lot of emissions during transportation. So I do think aluminum is the way, and if at all possible, I'm going to choose aluminum over glass, but I will still continue to choose glass over plastic if at all possible, or at least larger sizes of things that come in plastic as opposed to a smaller size of something in glass. And then when it comes to trash, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I think this is a very reasonable amount of like straight up garbage that will not be recycled, not be composted. It really is a pretty minimal amount, and I'm pretty happy with myself. The thing is, all these people online, these like zero wasters that have their like mason jar full of trash, that's great for them, but I think in reality it's not very practical. There is that curve, I forget exactly what it's called. You can truly make a difference up to a certain point, and then after that you're putting in much more effort than whatever you're doing is worth. So I'd rather do 80% of something than 100% because the final 20% takes like 100% extra effort. You have to go through a lot of effort to reduce your trash to that small of an amount. And I often think that the time people spend thinking about how can I reduce my trash to that small of an amount, that time could be better spent doing other things like going vegan or working so you can save money so you can buy a more expensive electric car that's better for the environment. Or hang drying your clothes and that you have a very sustainable laundry routine, because those are things that really affect the environment on a mass scale, even more than something like this small pile of trash would. So just remember that all you can do is your best, and even your best is not going to be enough, and that's okay. We can't control what companies do. We can't control what other people do. We can only control what we do. As long as we're spending our time in a way that feels the most productive in terms of sustainability, but also in terms of what we actually can do, because monitoring your trash like this can actually take a lot of time. That's not to say that my personal role in reducing my waste isn't important. It definitely is, but it's not everything.